Hey guys, this is Dave. I talked about in class that I kind of wanted to show you guys how to make some network cables. I'm here at my apartment and we just moved some computers and furniture around, and we got one network cable running across the center of the floor that is kind of a trip hazard, and it's going from the internet router, the modem router unit, over to one of our PCs here at the apartment. And so I need to create a longer cable so I can run it along the floor, along the walls, and over to the computer instead of directly across the center of the floor from one point to another. So I, from Home Depot, have got some Cat5 cable, and it's got all those wires in there. And then I've got a couple RJ45 network connectors. These look very similar to the old landline phone connectors. So make sure you got RJ45 and not the other ones. And then I've got my crimper tool. Now you can tell that this tool does RJ45, and I forget what the number is for this one, but this is for the phone connectors that are kind of a similar construction but fewer pins. And then it's got a blade here, which I've never really used. I usually just use my wire strippers, but I think that's for cutting wire on this side and then stripping wire on the other, or maybe vice versa. But I'm going to try and use that to strip these wires. Now, how much of that outer jacket do we need to strip off? Well, like always, you look at what you're going to attach it to. So these wires are going to go inside and kind of right up to those pins. So I'm going to strip kind of right where that back of that 2, or the front of that 2 is where I'm going to, because I want some of this jacket to go inside here, because I don't want those colored wires that are inside here to be hanging off the back here. I don't want to see those on the outside. Now I've Googled the pinout where each color is supposed to go in this connector. So I'm looking at the pinout online, and it's the same on both sides for a regular network cable. Now there is a type of network cable called a crossover cable that's supposed to be used to connect a network port on one computer to the network port of another computer and make a connection directly without using like a router or a hub or anything like that. So but that's got a different pinout. But you just want the regular old network pinout. So let me see if this actually strips wire if I just break this thing. Well, so far it's kind of awkward. I can't really see what I'm doing. So I lowered the blade onto it. Well, I definitely cut it. Did I damage any of my wires? Looks like it did an okay job. Okay, so inside you can see a few twisted pairs. We got brown and brown stripe, or brown with a white stripe, or white with a brown stripe, depending on your perspective. Then we got green and green stripe, and then we got orange and orange stripe, and then we got blue and blue stripe. So unfortunately, no red stripe. Hooray, beer. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm gonna undo these little. Now they're kind of, since they were twisted, they got kind of like little waves in them, so I'm gonna just pull on those until they're all straightened out. I may have stripped off a little bit more than I wanted. These look a little bit long. Okay, so they're kind of straightened out. I got this little piece of packaging in here, this little string that I don't really need, and it doesn't really conduct any electricity, but it can hang out, I guess. I'd cut it off if I had scissors. Probably should go get those, but that's fine. Okay, so based on my drawing that I'm looking at online, the order of these wires needs to go green, or striped green, and then green, And then striped orange. And then orange. No, that's not right. Striped orange and then blue. And then I'm trying to get them in order and get them as flat together as you can. So see, I'm kind of building a little network rainbow. And then I'm gonna go with blue stripe. And then I'm gonna go with orange is the next one. And then I'm gonna go with a brown stripe. And then I got brown. So that's what the order should be according to my diagram I have on my computer screen. So that's what that looks like. Now I want all these ends to be flush, so I am going to go grab a pair of scissors and just cut those flush real quick. Hang on for a second. Again, you know, the right tool for this would be like wire cutters and wire strippers and all that. Now, I put it down and I picked it up, so my little cables might have gotten out of order, but yeah, so let's cut off just the last 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch here. There we go. Double check my order. Green stripe. Oh man, my screensaver kicked in. Come on. Alright. Green stripe, green. Orange stripe. Blue. Those are switched, so I need to go blue stripe, orange. Blue. And then blue stripe. Blue stripe, then orange. Then brown stripe and brown. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of the tricky part. So you got to feed these into there, and it's clear plastic, so you can kind of see that they go in. And you got to kind of wiggle, wiggle, push, wiggle, wiggle, push, wiggle, wiggle, push, wiggle, wiggle, push until you look down on the ends, and you can kind of see the shiny tips of each one of those cables. Hopefully they all made it into their slots. And you should be able to kind of see whether they did or not. It looks like I missed one. I'm kind of looking down on the front of this, and I see little copper tips where the ends of the wires are in every place except for one. I'm going to pull this back out and see if I see anything weird. See, okay, see the blue one? The blue one didn't make it. The blue one got bent and it got pushed out of place, so I'm going to try that again. Straighten them out, line them up. Okay. Double check my order. Green stripe, green. Orange stripe, blue, blue stripe, orange, and brown stripe, brown. Okay, so that's all good. So let's kind of just nice and easy go straight in there. It feels like it goes in real smooth. Okay, this one's looking a little bit better on the end. Let me just pull it out real quick, make sure I don't see anything weird. Well, that was probably right. I should have just gone with that. But hey, we're being careful. So we're just making extra sure that we're doing this right. So there we go. Okay, so green stripe, green, orange stripe, blue, blue stripe, orange, brown stripe, brown. Okay, push it in. Well, that definitely didn't work. Dang it. Okay. Good. And pushed it in, and check it out. That looks pretty good. I see little copper tips on each one of those And then it goes into the crimper, like so. Goes all the way in. And this is kind of a cheap crimper, but I think it's still like 20 bucks, but you push those cables all the way in and you squeeze like hell. Rah, squeeze! Squeeze! Okay, and then that's your cable. That's one connector on one end of a regular old network cable. And then you do the same thing to the other side. And that's RJ45 crimping.